What's up guys, my name is Ace, and a while back on my channel, I did a video talking about the top 5 best iron sights on variants in CoD WW2. I've been planning on doing the reverse of that video for quite some time now, but then I just completely forgot about it until somebody brought it up on stream. Today, we're going to be covering the top 5 worst iron sights in CoD WW2. If you guys missed that first video where I talked about the top 5 best iron sights, I will leave that linked in the description down below. And also, I just want to start this video off by saying, of course, these are to an extent subjective. You may not agree with all of them, and that's totally fine. Let me know in the comment section below if there's any here that I think are some of the worst iron sights that you actually enjoy using and prefer using over other variants. So first up, let's kick it off with the M1941 Johnson Battle Watch as well as Savior. Both of these variants have identical iron sights, and as you can see here, they take up a very good portion of your screen. First off, it's got quite a large rear sight that's a bit obstructive towards the center of your screen, and then on the left side of the screen, you basically lose the whole lower left-hand side of the screen because that magazine is sticking out and in the way. So for me at least, I'm really not a fan of these two variants, and I'd never really consider using them unless I'd be using a reflex sight. Next up, moving into the SMG category, this is the Grease Gun, and I'm talking about the base version of the Grease Gun as well as the Roxy, because the Roxy essentially has the exact same iron sights as the base model. Now, I have heard from some people that they actually like these iron sights and prefer them, but for me at least, I really dislike these iron sights, and I actually hated the Grease Gun until I got the Candy variant, and when I started using that, it was like a night and day difference. I think the big thing for me here is that rear sight is just a bit too thick. I don't mind rear sights with a ring on them, but when that ring is really thick and it actually obstructs your target, especially if you're trying to challenge somebody at one of those mid to somewhat longer ranges for an SMG, this does have the potential to get in the way. Moving on to the next one, this is actually one of the newer weapons that have been added to the game, and this is the M38 Top of the Morning variant. As you can see here, it's got that really ugly rear sight that looks like a number 4, it's also off-center, and personally I just think it looks kinda ugly. I will admit I have no issue using this iron sight, and since I don't have any other variants of this gun, I just kind of suck it up and deal with it. But having said that, I do think it's one of the uglier iron sights in the game. Next up, we're moving into the LMG category, and this is the GPMG Capo Verde variant. With all of the other GPMG variants, I think the iron sights are excellent, but this particular one just rubs me the wrong way. I think it's just that giant rectangle that sticks out. It's really distracting and completely unnecessary, and I'm personally just not a fan of how this looks. Now before we get into the final one on this list, I do want to give an honorable mention to one that doesn't necessarily fit with this, but then again it kind of does. This is the Kar 98K iron sight attachment. With this one, it's not so much that the iron sights look bad, the iron sights actually look very good, they're not obstructive by any means. The problem with it is with this attachment you actually reduce your multipliers, and therefore you reduce your one-shot kill potential. And also, it has a very strange aim down sight sensitivity setting that's very difficult to control, and on console you aren't getting the aim assist that you're used to when you're using guns with iron sights. As a result, I couldn't make a video titled The Worst Iron Sights in CoD WW2 without giving a mention to the Kar 98K. So finally, we're back into the LMG category, and this, I don't think is going to surprise very many people, is the Bren. And this applies to pretty much every variant of the Bren. Now, some are a little bit better than others. The base Bren is probably the worst out of all of them because it has, once again, a rear sight that's really thick and obstructive, whereas when we look at some of the other ones, they actually cut the top of that ring off, so it's less obstructive as your gun kicks upwards, which this gun does kick upwards. And personally, out of all of them, I really don't mind the Royalty variant, but aside from that, I really don't like the iron sights on the Bren. One of the other big issues is the giant magazine that sticks up vertically on the gun, and it actually cuts your screen completely in half. Now, one thing you can do to remedy this is use extended mags, and if you do that, it comes off to the side, and you don't split your screen in half anymore, so I think it runs much better if you are running extended mags, but even then, I still am not a fan of this iron sight, and I think the majority of players agree with me. So those are my top 5 worst iron sights in CoD WW2. I'd love to know in the comment section below, are there any here first off that you disagree with? And also, are there any that weren't in this video that you would add to this list? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.